This meeting to order of the Villa Park Village Board. Today's January 13th at 7 p.m. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Salella?
Here.
Trustee Kazone?
Here.
Trustee Murphy? Here. Trustee Patrick?
Here.
Trustee Tucker?
Here.
Trustee Wagner?
Here.
President Bolfus?
Here. Let's all rise for the pledge and remain standing for a short prayer. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Trustee Wagner has a prayer.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is a public comment on agenda items. That would be anything from item number 5 through item number 10D. If anyone has any comments on non-agenda items, we have that at the end of our regular meeting. So, is there anyone on an agenda
I have
item?
no agenda items, no.
So, we'll get to the non-agenda items later on. Do we have any amendments from the agenda from the board? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5, which is District 45 presentation by Superintendent Dr. Anthony Palmisano. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just want to thank the entire Board of Trustees for having us here this evening. As you know, the School District 45 Board of Education voted on December 16th to place a referendum on the March 17th ballot, and I appreciate the opportunity to be with you tonight to provide you with some information about that referendum. So again, thank you so much for having me here tonight. As you may or may not know, we've been around for 162 years. We straddle 4 communities in District 45, so Elmhurst, Oak Brook Terrace, Lombard, and Villa Park, and most of our schools, as you know, reside in Villa Park, and we have 8 schools altogether. By the way, just to mention it, that is, a person recently had mentioned that some of these pictures that you're about to see look like stock photos off the internet. None of the pictures you'll see tonight are from the internet. They're actually our students. Those were our students, but in the 1960s. So that's an old vintage photo. So that's from a long time ago. But the photos that you do see tonight are from District 45. They're our kids in our community. So, but again, 1857, we've been around for a long time. One of the oldest businesses in Villa Park. Okay, so about 3 years ago, we had a strategic planning session, and we invited 80 participants from the community. We had community members who were our parents. We had community members who did not have children in our schools. We had administrators. We had teachers. We even had children participate on our strategic planning committee. About 80 participants altogether. And the purpose of bringing us together for that strategic plan mainly was to develop a new mission and vision for District 45. And that new vision is preparing students to successfully navigate a dynamic world. So what is a dynamic world? It's an ever-changing world. It's the world that we live in now. It's ever-changing. They say for our kids, when they reach the work world of 2030 to 2040, that they will probably, over their lifetime, switch occupations 7 to 10 times over. So the world is changing every day. It's very new for them. It's new for us. So when we were in school, we were prepared by our teachers to be something, lawyer, doctor, teacher, businessman. We are now trying to prepare our students to be anything. We're trying to teach them to adapt to an ever-changing world, to adapt to a dynamic world. So that is the whole purpose behind our vision going forward. So how do we do this? We accomplish this by teaching differently. So it's very new in District 45 and in DuPage County as well. Across Illinois, we're trying to teach differently, but especially in District 45. We have invested in a new math program called Eureka. And in order to prepare our students to navigate a dynamic world, to be adapters, this program not only teaches formulas and the way in which we learn math when we were all in school, where you would memorize facts. Now we try to teach kids to learn math in a different way. We try to prepare kids to learn math so that they can solve multiple problems at any particular time. They can adapt to anything. We want them to discover their own solutions in a constructivist way. So we're teaching very differently in District 45 these days. We are now putting an emphasis on personalized learning. We want to give more voice, choice, and control to the kids. We want to appeal to their interests, and we want to make sure that they're excited about learning in District 45. We're trying to place an emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and math. That's probably a new term you've heard throughout the last several years. And we always want to place our focus, or remember our focus, on the fine arts. I believe we have an excellent fine arts program in District 45, great bands, choirs, orchestras. Many of you have had children who participated in all of those in our schools. So we're trying to continue that effort and our investment as we move forward in District 45. So the question is, how do we continue to work towards this vision? We've had lots of investments over the years. Again, a new math program. We're now working on a new English language arts program, which would teach our kids to be adapters and to appeal to their interests. Again, moving forward with the fine arts and science, technology, engineering, and math. But the question is, how do we continue to move to or work towards this vision of preparing kids to adapt to a new world? And that leads us to the referendum going forward. We are also investing in social emotional wellness for our kids. We've spent some money on hiring new counselors and social workers. Anxiety and depression among our students is on the rise, especially for our girls, up by 62% nationwide, as you see the rise in the use of social media and social media bullying. Social emotional wellness for our kids is extremely important, and we want to prepare them. It's another way to prepare them for this new and changing world. We've been working on all this while remaining fiscally responsible, so we're very proud of the way we've handled things fiscally in District 45. We've always maintained a 25% fund balance. We continue to do that in our 4 major funds in the district. We use zero-based budgeting each year, which means basically we do not start off with last year's budget, the previous year's budget. Every new year we make sure that our new budget is aligned to our strategic planning goals and our strategic priorities. So nothing that we spend in the current year is frivolous. It's directed toward our mission and vision moving forward. So what we wanted to do in answering the question, how do we move forward, how do we continue with this vision, is create a master plan. That was the only way we can answer the question as to how we would continue with this mission and vision of helping our kids adapt. So in order to develop a master plan, we brought other members from the community in, about 40 members, and this was last year, last spring. Again, we had participants from the community, those with children, those without children. We had about 6 or 7 parents involved. We had paraprofessionals, our program assistants, teachers, administrators, principals, board members were all involved in this effort. And the question was, how can we move forward? How can we build a master plan to ensure that we keep growing in District 45 and moving toward that vision? So a 10-year master facility plan was developed by that group that focused on meeting our greatest challenges in the most fiscally responsible way possible. In this plan, the plan will give our early learners the best possible foundation. We want to make sure that we have a focus on our early learners, especially our 3 to 6-year-olds. And it does start at 3 now, especially in our early childhood program. We know that if they have a solid foundation, they'll be better able to adapt to this changing world. We know that more than any other time in history, and you know from the news especially, that we want to keep our children safe and secure. So that is part of our master plan, especially our 10-year plan, and we want to prepare all our students again to successfully navigate this ever-changing dynamic world. So completing the entire 10-year master facility plan would result in a significant refresh for our district, for District 45, removing the barriers staff currently faces as they work to implement the curriculum. Again, we are redesigning our curriculum in the future, actually 2 years to come. We'll be working not only on English language arts, we'll be working on science and social studies as well, and on the arts and our specials. We want to make sure that as time goes on, we refresh our district to the point where we make it easier for our teachers to teach. We want to set them up for success. So how do we accomplish the work identified in the master facility plan? That is the question. How do we continue to do this? How do we make this all happen and keep moving forward? So the referendum, combined with the district's budget that we already have, a $30 million referendum will help fund a significant portion of the community-driven master facility plan. This will help us, especially in the first 2 years of our master plan. It helps us move forward. It actually takes a 10-year plan that could have been a 30-year plan and accomplishes much in the 2 years with the help of the referendum. So this referendum, if it's successful for District 45, will establish full-day kindergarten, which is an initiative that our community has been asking for many years. Many of the surrounding communities around us have full-day kindergarten. We want to build a new early childhood center. Again, we're now focusing on students who are 3 years old, 4, 5, even before kindergarten. We want to upgrade our technology. We want to stay current with the changes in our world, especially with technology. And we want to make sure that our classrooms are modernized moving forward. We want to increase safety and security in each of our buildings, making sure that our children are safe and secure. Again, improve STEM curriculum and provide more opportunities in music. Again, the fine arts is always a focus for us in District 45. One thing you should know, and again, being fiscally responsible over the years, is that we've stretched every dollar possible, just like you have done in Villa Park, but with one of the lowest per pupil funding rates in DuPage County. The average in DuPage County, in terms of funding rates, is 101%. So if you look at this here, we have several districts to look at. We are receiving only 78% of the resources needed to meet our expenditures, basically. The State Board of Education has cited multiple components of best practice in education for all school districts in Illinois. Components such as ensuring that we have so many teachers per student, that we have so many principals or assistant principals per student, counselors, social workers at the schools, instructional coaches, even substitute teachers. So in order for us to meet the demands and the mandates of the state of Illinois, we would have to reach 100%, but we only reach 78% in District 45, and you can see some of the comparisons there. So a $30 million referendum is an approximate tax impact of $170 a year for the average homeowner, and the average home is about $240,000 here in Villa Park. Again, the board voted to place this ballot question on the March 17th election. I'll let you take a moment to read that, but it serves as a great summary for this presentation, basically, and a summary of what we're trying to accomplish in the future years, in the next 10 years in District 45, including our early childhood center, full-day kindergarten, security, renovating some of our buildings, some additions, increasing parking even. Ardmore School is one that has some traffic, has always had some traffic concerns and need for parking, so that is part of what we're trying to accomplish. And again, in the amount of $30 million for a referendum for the purpose of paying those costs. So moving on, want to make sure that I invite all of you on behalf of the School District 45 Board of Education to our town hall meetings. So we'll be around the community. I'll also be presenting to some of our local organizations like the Rotary Club, Kiwanis, the Chamber, hope to talk to them, and many other organizations. But we will be around at each one of our schools to provide a town hall, which would have a presentation similar to this, but with a Q&A session. And we have 3 open houses in February and 1 in March. And at those open houses, we would have some exhibits for you to look at to see exactly what we plan to do at each of our schools. And again, provide an opportunity for some one-on-one discussions and for some questions and answers. So again, the election day is March 17th, as you know. And moving on. For any additional information for anyone here and for the board, please visit our website. You can find pretty much everything you need to know on our website at d45.org/referendum. You'll have that there. You'll have also the dates. That was a very quick slide, but you'll have the dates for all the town hall meetings and the open houses. So also on our website, if you're thinking about the cost of your home, we have a calculator that's on our website, so you can plug in the number of your the estimated cost of your home and determine what your payment would be in terms of our taxes. So again, I just want to take a moment to thank you for the opportunity to provide you with this information and see if you have any questions for me at this time. I'll do my very best to answer all that I can. So.
If you don't mind, can we possibly, if you have any questions, go to the one of the open houses or town hall meetings? This is really just a presentation that will give you that time. So there are a number of them. The residents will be able to attend. Otherwise, we could get into a long discussion here.
Absolutely.
So I encourage the residents who have any questions. Probably you have this information on d45.org/referendum for the dates and times and locations.
Yes.
So, okay. Thank you very much, Tony.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next, we'll move on to our regular meeting agenda. We'll be on item number 6, and 6A is the bill listing for the week of December 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th of 2019, and January 6th of 2020, for the total amount of $1,830,704.12, and also the minutes from the board meeting held on December 16th, 2019. Do you have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Kazone?
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second, Trustee Shala. Anybody have any questions on it? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Next item is first reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, increasing the number of Class AA Tavern Unrestricted Liquor License. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Standard Meadery, located at 11A West Park Avenue, intends to manufacture, sell, and distribute mead, wine, and cider for on-site consumption and package to go. This ordinance will create a Class AA Tavern Unrestricted License for consumption on the premises and sale of alcoholic liquor at retail in original packages. This will bring the total number of Class AA license to 8. This ordinance also restates the total number of liquor licenses for each class, including the addition of Divine and 302 on Tap, which replace selective liquors. Thank you, Your Honor.
And this being a first reading, we don't need a motion. This is just for discussion from the board. Does anyone at the board level here have any questions or comments? Trustee Murphy.
Yes, my question is, can you help me to understand when we say unrestricted license, is that a full bar license? Can they do just a beer and wine? And if we were to approve this type of license, does it then open that venue to the gaming again?
Well, the answer, yeah, because they do serve samples. I assume that with doing that. In Class AA, they can have gaming. Yes.
They could have gaming, and unrestricted refers to a full bar license, not just beer and wine.
Well, it refers to beer and wine, which this is,
Okay,
and to beer and wine and hard liquors.
that was my question.
That's a different license, but
Right.
this one here is just beer and wine.
Okay, that was my question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. He plans no beer. He's just planning on having mead and. So. Anyone else? Trustee Tucker.
I just have a question. Is there a reason why we call it a tavern? Is it just a way in the thing?
Could you say that
Tavern
again?
unrestricted license, I mean, is that considered a
That-
bar? Is that why we're considering it a tavern? We group them all together?
That's how it's listed in the code.
Okay,
So
so they just list it as a
Yeah.
code because, a name for it, even though, are other bars in town also considered taverns? Or are
Yes.
they, okay. It's just a name thing, okay.
anyone else? Okay.
Just a quick question.
Trustee Wagner.
Do we have any idea, I know that there's construction going on there now. Do we have any idea when they intend on opening?
Well, he has to get his really not brewing, making the wine and the mead. He has to get a license to do that. To get that license, he needs to prove that he has a license from the village. So he's a little ways away to be open because he's just putting the stuff in there now. He still then has to make the mixes and let it ferment and
Right.
that type of thing. So I don't have any real date from him yet. But it is a number of months away. I think it takes about 2 to 3 months to ferment it. So
Thank you.
that's
all I
my
had.
that's my guess. So
Do you like me?
anyone else? Any questions, objections? Seeing none, we'll move this on to our next regular meeting. Item number 7B is the first reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the fee structure for parking violations in the Villa Park Municipal Code. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Police Department has identified several vehicle owners with multiple unpaid parking tickets. All attempts to collect fines owed to the village have been ignored. Since January of 2019, 17 vehicles have received tickets with current fine amounts totaling over $2,000. 5 of these owe more than $5,000. The village is experiencing difficulty in collecting overdue fines relating to unpaid parking tickets. Village Code currently contains a section to provide for the immobilization of motor vehicles for outstanding unpaid violations. It is recommended that the ordinance be updated to allow for a fewer number of violations to qualify for immobilization and a revised fee structure. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Again, this is a first reading, so it's just for discussion purposes. If any board members have any questions, Trustee Wagner.
Yes, I looked through the memo, and I was trying to, when I assume what we say immobilization, we're talking about booting of a vehicle. I didn't see any kind of representation of what the boot would like. I assume it's going to be like what we see in the city of Chicago. And I guess my question is, who would be doing the booting? Would our police be doing the booting? Would this be
I believe it's,
someone from Public Works or?
No, please.
no, it'd be the police because it's a violation of the
Okay.
law. So they'd be doing it. But the people who are going to be booted will also receive a notice ahead of time that they
Right.
will receive a boot unless they make good on the fines.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Tucker.
When we have these numbers of 17 vehicles have over a total, is that individually? They have a total of cost of over $2,000, and we have 5 that our own have more than 5,000? Or is that a group number?
No.
No, that's an individual.
That's an individual
Individual
person has
people.
that amount.
Right.
What are the range of these tickets?
The tickets range, well, for a ticket or how far they're
Well,
over.
the fine of them, that they could get them up that far up, and yet they have less than 5.
Paid, they escalate quickly.
The tickets are
Tickets.
$35, and then if they don't pay them, then there's additional charges on. And if they don't come to adjudication, the longer it goes,
So
the
they're
higher the fines
rolling
go.
fees is what happened. It started out at
Yes.
35 and they rolled up to that amount.
Mhm.
Okay.
And they have some people have multiple tickets. To give you a little example, we received this in our packet we have one offender who has $5,400 in past due tickets, one with 8,475, another one 8,675, one with 10,800, and one with $14,487. So they're not paying, they're not coming to adjudication, they continue to get tickets, and the fees keep going up because they're not doing anything about it. So,
But according to this, if they had 5 or more, we would be already booting them.
yes, we would. But
So all these tickets, they have less than 5 tickets causing these huge amounts.
Not less than 5.
not, the current ordinance says if they have 10, then they can be booted.
I thought it said 5.
The new ordinance says 5.
Oh, we're moving it to 5, okay.
Yes. So
I
we'll be on
misunderstood
top
on
of
my
it.
reading, I guess.
So we'll be on top of it a little sooner than
Okay.
letting it get way out of hand.
I guess I misunderstood. I thought we were at 5 right now and that we were moving it to less. We're moving to 5 right now. It's 10. They have 10 tickets is what it is.
Pardon me?
In
I'm
our
sorry.
ordinance, it's 10 tickets or more.
Pardon me?
Right now, it's 10.
Right now it's 10.
Okay,
And
and
we're-
we're trying to move it to 5.
Right.
Okay, I misread that.
And we're also changing the
Notice date from
the
15 to
notice
7.
date. They have to come in pay from 15 days to 7 days. And just so you know, that the guy with the $14,000, he has 57 tickets. So. Yes, trustee Kazone.
Do we know, are these mostly passenger cars or any trucks are part of it, or is it just all passenger?
Very,
Predominant focus.
yeah, it varies.
Right, yeah, okay.
Trustee Ciala.
You got it. Is there any legal way we can possibly tap into suspending their driver's license?
The attorney's waiting to answer that.
There was a time where unpaid parking tickets, after proper notice, would allow the Secretary of State not to reissue. It doesn't suspend, but not reissue. The state has stopped doing that. So that we're on our own, and therefore, we can't use that mechanism. We've got to go to a harsher booting system.
Thank you.
Is there any way we can get from there any tax refunds that they get? Like, or did they take that away too?
No, that hasn't been taken away with the violations. I'm not sure parking would pertain
Okay.
as much as other ordinance violations, but we can check into that too. We have that agreement in place, as Finance Director Wachtel is
Okay.
nodding.
So they're trying to get ahead of these scofflaws. So, anyone else? Trustee Tucker.
The other question I had is, I believe in here it said something about, where are we going to put all these vehicles? Are we going to get some type of contracts with pounding yards? Where are we going to put the vehicles if we start booting them up?
Well, hopefully we won't have a bunch of them that once the boot gets on, they'll come in and settle up or make some type of a payment arrangements that they stay by. If they don't do anything to have the boot removed, then we will tow them. And hopefully we won't have that many that we would have to tow. In the meantime, we'd have to put them in, Area 51 or someplace?
We could, Your Honor.
Put them over there. But it'd be to their advantage if they came in and made some payment terms. So,
Once it's booted by our code,
Mm-hmm.
You get a notice that it's going to be booted in 7 days. And then after it's booted, you get a notice that you have another 4 days to pay up before it's towed. So that with that step process, the prayer is they will pay and not continue up the
And
ladder.
that we won't have to find spots for these vehicles, okay?
well, if they don't do anything about the boot and it gets towed, the fine just continues to go up. You're not towing them for free.
Oh, I understand, but obviously if these people have fines that big, they obviously
Yeah.
have got them so far, they can't really pay them
Yep.
in 4 or 7 days, so I was kind of concerned that now we've got adding on to the problem of not collecting fines, and we've got a vehicle in our lot that's taking up space.
And they're gonna have to pay for that space.
After 30 days,
Yep.
notices, we can sell it.
Right.
We can go from, I'm sorry.
After 30 days, we can sell the vehicle.
Okay.
Anyone else? Seeing none, with that, we'll move this on to the second reading at our next board meeting. Item number 8A is the second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Villa Park Municipal Code by increasing the number of Class AAA liquor license. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. In November of 2017 and again in June of 2019, the Village Board awarded a Class B liquor license to the owner of 302 East St. Charles Road for the establishment of the beverage hub. The owners have changed their business plan, the name of the proposed establishment to 302 on Tap, Selective Liquors, and have appealed to the board for a new liquor license. At the board meeting held on December 2nd, 2019, the board voted to proceed with the necessary steps to issue a new class of liquor license to the new owner, Mr. James Anthony. This ordinance would approve an increase in the number of Class AAA licenses. With approval of this license, along with the approval of Agenda Item 8B, there would be a total of 2 AAA liquor licenses. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I have a motion for the second reading? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Cielo? Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Wagner?
Thank you, President Poltis. I, like other trustees, went to visit 302 on Tap because I had some questions about the operation, et cetera. And Mr. Anthony was there, his sister and mother were there as well. And I got a little tour of the facility, so I feel a lot more comfortable about what he's planning to do. I think this could be something that organizations could use for fundraisers. I like the fact that he's going to partner with other restaurants, and there'll be opportunity for people to order food on the outside. So I feel more comfortable with this, and I'll be voting yes on this.
Thank you. Anyone else? Trustee Murphy?
Is this vote solely on the number of licenses, or is it approving a license for that particular business?
We're approving a license, we're approving the number of license.
Correct.
We are not approving the license for that particular business.
Okay, that's my question.
But seeing that he has his application in and it's all been okayed, if this passes the board, then we will be issuing 302 a license.
And that will not be a separate vote?
No,
So once we approve this, that gets approved automatically?
right, that's the indication to me that it's okay to issue the license.
Okay. I would just like to make a comment on that, and we've had this discussion before with the combination of the liquor licenses and then opening that venue up to gaming. I would personally like to see a new category of liquor license that has just the liquor license with no gaming, because if we vote on the liquor license and we're okay with the liquor license, I don't have a problem with that, but then we are automatically giving that particular venue the opportunity to put in the gaming, and it limits our control, and we end up with all these gaming venues. That's my only concern.
We would have to create a new category. Well, we'd have like the same category, like a double A, but we'd have to have like a quad A to handle that in every class that has a pour license. So would not be a liquor store, but anybody who has a pour license. We'd have to create a new class for all different ones. So, okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Okay, Trustee Patrick?
No.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
No.
Trustee Stilella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Okay, that passes, and the next one is 8C. It's the second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding, code relating to liquor licenses and addition of a Class Quad E restaurant unrestricted license classification. Manager Keener.
Your Honor, are we doing quad E or the triple A? Are we doing AB? Or did you jump
It's
to
4
A?
E's. I'm doing here, B.
So we're skipping over 8B. Right?
Oh, okay, yeah, we're down here. We'll come back up.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep.
This ordinance creates a new class of liquor license that allows the consumption of alcohol on the premises of a business, but specifies that no gaming will be permitted. No licenses will be assigned at this time.
Okay. Do we have a motion for the second reading of the Quad E license? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that
Do we have
motion.
a second?
I'll
Trustee
second.
Ciela? Any questions, comments?
Only for restaurants.
Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes,
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Stilella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes, with that one passes. Then we're going to go back up to 8B, which I skipped, which is the second reading of the ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Village Municipal Code by increasing the number of Class AAA liquor license. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The owner, the owner of 339 East Kenilworth has requested a Class AAA tavern beer and wine only liquor license, which would be used to open a new business called Divine. Divine will be a wine tasting bar with the option to purchase packaged liquor. No food would be served. With approval of this license, along with the approval of Agenda Item 8A, there would be a total of 2 AAA liquor licenses. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the second reading? Trustee Kazone?
Because, Mr. President, I'll make that
Do we
motion.
have- do we have a second? Seeing, going once?
I'll make a second.
Trustee Sella, second, okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Murphy.
I would just like to make a comment with reference to the serving of alcohol with no food. I know that as a board, we can't control whether they opt to serve food or not, but I do on a going forward basis have a concern over the request for liquor licenses in venues that are not serving some type of food.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Trustee Tucker.
if I understand this right, packaged liquor, that means she could sell packaged whiskey, scotch, wine, wine and other than wine and beer at that location.
I think, trying to think off the top of my head of triple E's. Yeah, that would be unrestricted, so that would be,
So she could sell other
Yes.
liquors besides just wine and beer at that location.
yes. Trustee Murphy.
Is there another alternative license status that would restrict her to just selling beer and wine since her venue is primarily a wine bar?
We do have, I don't have my code book with, there is a liquor license.
I gotta check on that. The big one. I gotta check on that, triple A. That might be beer and wine. Yeah, I think it's beer and wine only.
There it is. Okay. Like classification. That's tavern, beer and wine.
That's what this is, a triple A.
Okay.
Okay, so it's beer and wine only.
And it's the sale of beer and wine at retail.
Right.
In original packages. So the difference is, you cannot sell other liquor.
Right.
Okay.
You can taste the wine and you can sell packages, but not.
Beer
hard-
and wine
Beer and wine
only.
only.
Okay,
Thank you.
So the purchase of the packaged liquor is only beer and wine.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I knew we did it that way for a reason.
Yeah. Good.
So many different liquor licenses to keep track.
Right. I
Anyone
don't
else?
imagine.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we have a roll call vote.
Trustee Wagner,
I vote present.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Silella,
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. So,
Present is with
Yeah.
the majority.
okay,
It's unanimous.
that passes. Okay, now we'll move on to 8D, which is a second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the village code, revising the established meeting dates for various commissions. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Village Code currently requires that the Traffic and Safety Commission meet on the second Tuesday of each month. This standing date has been difficult for the commission to establish a quorum to hold their meetings. Membership of the commission has requested that Village Code be revised to state that the commission shall meet at least monthly on a certain date and time as determined by the chairperson. The Traffic and Safety Commission intends to meet the first Tuesday of every month beginning in January of 2020. Also, the proposed ordinance revises village code relating to the specific standing meeting date contained in the code for each of the remaining commissions. With this revision, all commissions shall meet at least monthly on a certain date and time as determined by the chairperson and will still be required to schedule regular meeting dates for the year. Meeting dates are published annually and posted in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. Thank you, Your Honor.
We have a motion for the second reading. Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
do we have a second?
I'll
Trustee Murphy?
second it.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker.
I have a question. Where in there does it state that they have to, is at the open act that they have to put the annual meeting date on there?
That's a state rule.
That's a state rule.
Yes.
Under the
That
open
it
meeting,
has to
Under
be
the
done
mo-
because
under
I
the
didn't
open
see it
meeting.
anywhere. That's under the open
meetings.
meetings law,
Yes.
okay. Because nowhere in this ordinance that we are about to change does it say that. It just says a
Yeah.
clarification.
You're correct.
Yeah, which means from the statement of that meeting, it says, well, this month I'd like to have it the first Wednesday of January. Next month I'd like it the third Thursday.
No.
So that's,
No.
from that statute, that's what it reads. But in the Open Meetings Act, it's from Illinois, it states they have to do an annual setup.
Yes,
Okay.
we have to publish that.
Well, I just wondered, because in that ordinance, it doesn't say they have to do that, so looks like it's open that the chairman can decide, this month I'd like to do it this time, and next month I'd like to do it a different time.
They can't. Okay. Anyone else? Roll call vote?
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Silella,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Okay, now we'll move on to number 9A, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, deleting certain uses, adding cannabis dispensary facilities and medical cannabis dispensing facilities as special uses in the C3 service business districts, and adding new section 6.4-18 to Article 6, referring to cannabis businesses, including definitions, prohibitions, and restrictions. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. At its meeting on December 12, 2019, the Zoning and Planning Commission recommended approval of a text amendment to Appendix C of the Villa Park Municipal Code, also known as the zoning ordinance, placing additional regulations and restrictions to recreational and medical cannabis dispensing facilities in Villa Park. Such changes to the zoning ordinance include, but are not limited to, adding both medical and recreational cannabis dispensaries as special uses in the C3 zoning district, deleting and updating certain definitions relating to the new cannabis law in Illinois, and placing more specific restrictions on cannabis dispensaries, such as hours of operation and proximity to other dispensaries. The Zoning and Planning Commission recommended approval of these text amendments. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kazone?
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Trustee Sala?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Kazone?
I've got one comment on, and I don't know if we need to change this in how we work that. On page 3 at the bottom of the line, the bottom of the page, it's talking about the uses that are prohibited. And it says cannabis cultivated centers. That should be changed to cultivation.
It's a typo. Okay.
Is it, I mean, can we just
Yeah.
say that that should be
Yeah,
changed? Yeah.
Understood.
Okay. That's all I've got.
Thank you.
Trustee Murphy.
I'm noticed on the memo as well as the ordinance, if I'm reading it correctly, that it's suggesting a restriction of 3 dispensaries, and it is defining the hours specifically. Having a hard time, I know the memo said 9 to 9, but the ordinance says, I think 10 to 9. With reference to those 2 points, I would personally prefer that we take out the restriction to 3. It's a special use anyway, and it has to come before the board, and I'd like to look at that on an individual case-by-case basis, since we have defined potential for 7 spaces. So I think we're restricting ourselves by changing the verbiage to 3. And the hours, I would be interested in knowing what our neighboring towns are doing, Addison and Lombard. I don't personally have a preference as far as our timing is concerned, and honestly don't feel that necessarily people should be able to purchase cannabis from 6 in the morning, I believe is the state law. But, how do we feel about potential revenue from 6 in the morning to whatever we determine the appropriate opening time is?
Well, as far as the number of dispensing agencies allowed in the village, I requested the board to notify us what their number be. I recommended 3, and I don't remember getting in any other direction to change that. So that's why it stayed as 3. So as far as the hours of operation, there was some concern about, I think you said 6 to 10 on the state.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there's much difference between 9 and 9 or 9
Ours
and
is
10.
8 to 10.
So we got 8 to 10?
Yeah, 8.
And we have 8 to 10. So I think it's up to the board if they're comfortable with those numbers, and see what anybody else has to say. So.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with the timing, but I think we're restricting ourselves with the 3 dispensary documentation and the verbiage, because if we have 4 places come to us and now we've documented 3, it says a special use anyway, I would suggest we leave that open and just approve them as they approach.
Well, if you look at the map that we had last time, I doubt if there's going to be 1 on Roosevelt Road.
We don't
There
know.
could possibly be, and 2 on North Avenue would seem to be a comfortable amount. So if there won't be 1 on Roosevelt, then you could maybe squeeze 3 in on North Avenue, but I think that'd be difficult, staying
'Cause of
within the 1,500 feet
Which is state law.
distance.
I just feel like if we find a way to make it work, now we're changing verbiage in an ordinance. Why restrict ourselves in that way?
Well,
She can make a motion.
you can make a motion to make any adjustments you want, but again, I didn't get a whole lot of responses on preferences, so.
All right, can I do that? I'd like to make a motion that we strike the number 3 and just leave it open as we'll approve as approached.
So, so you want to make a motion removing
Number 2.
number 2.
Correct, and because it's defined as a special use, that would mandate that they come to the board on an individual case basis.
Yes.
And unless anyone else has an issue with the hours of operation, I'm fine with that.
Yes, trustee Wagner.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. So the motion on the floor right now is to remove item number 2, which limits the number of locations. So any comments on that?
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
I don't know if anyone has been talking to any businesses approaching us that want to put these dispensaries in our village, but if anyone has any input with respect to making the opening hours at 8 a.m. as opposed to 6 a.m., not knowing what Lombard and Addison are doing, is that going to negatively impact these businesses in opening in our village?
My guess would be they're going to want to be open as long as they can.
So if we were to find out what Lombard's doing and find out what Edison's doing, and if they're doing 6 in the morning based on the state, are we going to lose those businesses?
Okay, now, what we're talking right now about the numbers. We can come back and discuss about the time after we deal with that.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions on the number of dispensaries?
Yes.
Yes. trustee Tucker.
My question is, basically, we're removing the amount of numbers that includes Roosevelt and North Avenue, correct? Because right from the map,
Whatever C3.
from the map, it looks like there's a possibility of 6 total we could actually do in the village.
They're only permitted now if this ordinance passes in C3 districts. Number one. Number two, they have to be at least 1,500 feet apart. That is state law requirement. So that I couldn't tell you how many maximum that would permit.
From the map we looked at before, it looks like there only could be 6, possibly 7.
No, because there's too much overlap.
Okay, so there's overlap, the overlap from the map, so.
Yeah, wait, we'll get the map. There- You could have one on North Avenue in Lincoln, and you could have one on Ardmore and North Avenue. But that would not allow you, if I remember right, room for one on Addison Road. So,
Okay, so depending on where the location is in those spots, would be to determine whether we could do 7 or 5 or whatever. Because there's, according to that, there's 7 different circles on that map.
yeah, let's, Patrick, go ahead.
And the circles weren't based on the number of locations you could have. This was based on each intersection and then doing 1,500 feet from around there to see where the overlap would be. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you can have 7 dispensaries.
Okay,
We were just trying to show you what, if they're at the intersections where we thought they could be on North Avenue and Roosevelt Road, where the overlap would be.
Yeah, in my quick look at that, it looks like you're only gonna squeeze 2 on North Avenue.
Well,
With
you
the
could get 3, you
overlaps.
could probably get 3.
Where would the third, you got one on the,
Well,
on the
that, see,
north?
if the green one, if that actually
Yeah.
is located at the border,
At
you know,
Lincoln.
you could theoretically get 3, but
You will also be restricted if our neighboring community has a facility within 1,500 feet, because the law does not say 1,500 feet within the boundaries of a municipality, it just says 1,500 feet.
Right.
so depending on what Oak Brook Terrace
Correct.
does or Lombard does on Roosevelt could make a
Correct.
difference
Mhm.
on whether we could even have a dispensary on Roosevelt.
Yeah, and yeah, you could.
And,
you could
and you're
put
also
3 in.
talking
could be, yeah.
Addison on this part. I mean, Addison could make an effect on North Avenue, for other words.
Yeah, they would be more affected the one way on the west side of town. The other ones along North Avenue, Villa Park is on the other side of the street. Is north
But
of
it's
that.
still, I mean, just because it's one side to the other side of the street.
Well,
it's
that's
still-
true, yeah.
It's still the distance from one
Yeah.
point to another, so it doesn't matter if we're across the street from each other. It's
It is-
still a distance.
Yes, it's still a distance. So you could put 3 on North Avenue. So the question is, do we change the number, remove the number restrictions or not? I can go either way because I don't see many more than 3, so. Trustee Wagner?
I just want to clarify, I'm not endorsing the idea of more than 3 dispensaries, but I agree with trustee Murphy's argument that we already have, it's a special use that we have to approve, so why limit ourselves? I think we can exercise limitations on our own. We don't have to say 3, so that's why I'm going to vote yes on the
Okay.
amendment.
So the motion.
The motion is to remove
Number
Number
2,
2.
C,
2C,
or C2.
C2. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, we're gonna have a vote to remove, number C2 from the ordinance, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Which would eliminate the restrictions on numbers. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Salella,
No.
Trustee Kazone,
No.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
No. So if that passes, so that restriction will be removed. So trustee Murphy, did you have another amendment? Time.
My thought process on that would be, I am not adverse to the timing, but I would be interested if anyone has any input as to whether restricting the time from 8 a.m. as opposed to making it the same as the state is going to negatively impact any of these businesses that are expressing interest in our town.
Attorney York.
I don't know. We don't know. We don't have an applicant in hand to ask. We have had interest. And to amend that time, should a licensed dispensary come in and request an amendment, it wouldn't be a big deal, because I don't hear any negative response to your suggestion. If you want to do it now, fine, or you want to wait until a possible actual dispensary makes a request for a specific time.
Do we have the option to get input from economic development if they have any?
Do you have any? Patrick?
We have talked to several potential operators. They have not mentioned hours of operation as a pro or a con.
And do we happen to know what the hours of operation in the Lombard ordinance and the Edison ordinances are?
No, I do not know that.
I would think if we leave the time as we have it, it'd be easier to increase the number than to decrease the time, or just take it out
It's just,
and have, is it
yeah.
state law?
It's state law. 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. is state law. So you can say the hours of operation per state law, or you can amend it as
It'd
requested.
be kind of hard to
My-
decrease that. at
Right.
that time.
My concern is the 10 p.m. because many dispensaries that I have heard talk don't want to go till 10 at night. I could be wrong. The other issue is several communities have also considered less than 7 days a week. And so this, again, is the result of discussion with the dispensaries, and that's why I make that suggestion. There may be more than the time that you would want to consider. They need a day off, or they need a day to get product
So your recommendation is
to deal
move
with
forward
it.
with this and deal with it as we're approached by a
Because it may be more
dispensary.
than just the time.
Which time are we using? The 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., or are we using the other
It's-
one, nothing before 8 a.m.?
It's 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. is what it is.
Okay, so in the
this-
memo it said
Right.
9 to 9,
Oh, I'm sorry.
8
Well,
to 10.
I wrote,
and we're using 8 to 10?
yes, that's what's in the ordinance.
Okay, I have a problem with that.
Well, what's your problem?
I would prefer not to have it before 8 a.m. Or 8 a.m. to 10, as it's stating.
What would you prefer?
I like the 9 to 9, actually.
Pardon me?
I
9
like
to
the
9?
9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah. I think that's a little restrictive. If anything, we should just remove the time and leave it at the state. That's my opinion, so. But if I don't have a motion, we're going to proceed with the original ordinance. Okay, last
So-
call for,
Yeah, let's just do it.
okay, so then we'll have a roll call vote on the ordinance as amended, okay?
Okay.
Roll call vote.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Salella,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
Trustee Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes, that passes. Item 9B is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, adding planned unit developments as special uses, deleting section 5-1 PUD districts from the zoning ordinance and adding PUDs as a special use to table 6-1. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The proposed ordinance modifies Appendix C, commonly referred to as the zoning ordinance of the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code by revising how planned unit developments, also known as PUDs, are processed. The current process requires that PUDs are processed in 2 steps. This amendment requires only a single step to attain a special use. The Zoning and Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this text amendment at their meeting held on December 12, 2019. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that
Trustee
motion.
Murphy, second. Trustee Wagner.
Second motion.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker.
I just basically want to thank the P&C for going through all this and simplifying it for us. There was a lot of code and paperwork in there, so I'd like to thank them for doing that and making it a little more clearer and more simple to go through this before we make that vote. That's all.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Volkus?
Yes. That passes, and we'll move to 10A, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving partial change order number 1 to the contract with A Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois, for the 2019 pavement patching program for net increase in the amount of $96,900. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. In September of 2019, the board approved a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois, for the project commonly known as the 2019 Pavement Patching Program. The 2019 program has been expanded to accommodate some of the 2020 work, thereby increasing contract quantities with proposed partial change order number 1. The amount of this proposed partial change order number 1 is a net increase of $96,900 for an adjusted final contract amount of $294,400. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kazone.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Shaw.
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker.
Do we know exactly what we added to this? Was there something in that we voted on early that
I think
we added for the partial?
We patched more pieces of street.
Correct. Right, but was
You
there a
went ahead?
map we had that we looked at earlier on which parts we were adding?
Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, the 2019 pavement patching program is not complete, so we're adding some 2019 work in there. So that's why it's called a partial change order. So when we reach the spring of 2020, when we kick off this program, it's going to have partial 2020 in there along with the 2019 program. And then I would assume that later in 2020, we'll come forward with the 2020 pavement patching program as well.
So do we have locations what we're adding on there for this partial? Yeah?
I'm sure we have them somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't just make the number up, I don't think.
Well, I'm just curious what streets we were talking that
Oh,
we were adding to it.
We can get you that information
Okay.
if you want it. Do you want
Yeah.
that information?
Yes, I'd like to
Okay,
know
so
which
we'll-
ones we
we'll
added
send
to
it
it,
to you,
just to have an idea.
We'll send it to you this week. Anyone else? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Volkus?
Yes, item passes, and item 10B is a resolution of the Village, Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a lease termination and general release with Clear Wireless for their lease of space on the water tower at 11 West Home Avenue. Andrew Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mobile carriers commonly lease space on the village's water towers to provide stronger services and signals to the customers. Clear Wireless, also known as Clearwire and doing business as Sprint, has an established agreement with the village for equipment on the water tower located at 11 West Home Avenue. Clearwire has notified the village of their intent to terminate their existing lease. The agreement being considered requires Clearwire to restore the village's property to its condition prior to the existing agreement and leave their concrete pad for future use. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
second.
I'll
Trustee
second that.
Murphy. Any questions or comments? I have one. Do you have any idea what the buyout is on that? There must be a buyout clause.
No,
No?
there is no.
It's like one more.
Just as
It's
strictly,
an extra one.
it's a termination of the lease
Oh.
as at its lease term end.
Oh, okay. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Trustee Cielo,
Do we have any other vendors that are proposing to take that spot?
Manager
No.
Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, staff has talked about that, and what's transpiring is that they'll remove their equipment, repair the water tower, and from that point, we're going to be reaching out to other carriers to see if they want to expand. In fact, there might be interest from T-Mobile to use a concrete pad for possible a generator. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any questions? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Excuse me. Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes,
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
President Wolfus?
Yes. Item 10C is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, adopting a capital asset policy for the Village of Villa Park. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village's existing capital assets policy was adopted in 1989 and requires updating. Since the policy's adoption, there have been several changes to accounting rules such as intangible assets like software and easement rights. These changes have been incorporated into the revised policy for consideration. Primary policies have not changed, which is useful lives of major asset classes, but the policy has been updated to be more user-friendly. Auditors have reviewed the policy for compliance to the latest Governmental Accounting Standards Board, GASB, rules. If adopted, this policy will be effective for the 2019 audit. Thank you, Your Honor.
You have a motion for the resolution. Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Tucker.
I will second that motion.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes,
President Wolfus?
Yes, that passes, and we'll move to 10D, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an agreement with Express Solutions, Inc. for online bill presentment, payment, and credit card processing services in a total amount of $60,000. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has been using the services of Pavement Service Network, also known as PSN, to provide online utility billing, viewing, and payment since 2013. When a customer pays with a credit card through PSN, they are charged a 2.75% fee, which discourages residents and customers from using credit cards. Many customers opt to pay with cash or check in person or through mail to avoid the fee. Customers often vocalize their preference for affordable online payment options and that PSN is difficult to navigate. In the fall of 2019, staff issued a request for proposals for online bill payment and processing services. Of the two proposals received, Express Solutions, Inc. offers the most comprehensive services that meets the needs of village residents and staff. If the village chooses to absorb the resident surcharge, an agreement with Express Solutions could cost a total of approximately $60,000 annually. It is recommended that the village enter into an agreement with Express Solutions for online merchant processing and that the cost associated be absorbed by increasing the administrative fee from $1.50 to $2 per month. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Cielo?
I'll make the motion.
Do you have a second? Trustee Wagner?
I'll second the motion.
Questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker.
I have a question. How is this process done? I mean, is it automatically sent to our billing department so it's fluent? Do they send the funds over weekly, monthly? How's it go through? How's it actually set up?
Yeah. Our finance director, Kevin Rocco, is ready with the answers.
Are you talking about the merchant processing fees? Is that what you're?
Well, the merchants and processing fee, and if we go into contract with Express Solutions, how do we get our funds? Is it an automatic, once the person paid, it automatically goes into our our village fund thing? How is it processed from them to us?
They wire us the money on a regular basis.
So it would be weekly, annually?
Daily.
Daily? So it's a daily roll, so.
Right, we get a number, PSN currently collects a number of payments, whether it's online, whether you go in and pay your utility bill online, that money gets collected by PSN and gets transmitted to us. Or if you go into your bank's check, bill pay portal and issue checks from your bank to us, that money essentially gets wired to PSN and then bind and funneled to us. So that gets wired to us on pretty much on a daily basis. Whenever
Daily
payments
basis,
are
okay.
made, we get that money on a daily basis.
So at the end of the business day, basically, we get some type of a transfer from them?
If there are payments made, then PSN sends that money straight away.
Okay. It's not like if I walked in and I gave you the check, it automatically goes. They send us a wire transfer like at the end of the business day for all that they got that day?
We can see that they have made the payment, the customers have made the payment pretty much in real time. And this Express Bill Pay would be a similar situation where we are hopeful that it will be integrated and we will actually see it in our utility billing software in real time as well.
Okay. So we're going to be seeing that in real time right away when somebody does it.
Right, but they send the money like one time per day. We see that they have made the payment and the
Well, I
payment's going
understand. So
through.
if somebody had a question and walked in here and said, hey, I paid my online fee from my bank, I want to make sure that you have it, we would be able to see that we do have it.
Yes, that is the case as it is now, and that will be the case with Express Bill Pay.
Anyone else? Trustee Kazal.
Currently in ACH though, that 2.75 doesn't apply, correct?
That's correct.
But the water bill, like they charge $1, correct? Because that's the way I pay it.
If you do that through PSN, yes.
Yeah, okay. Do we, for other bills with the village, can you also pay those ACH? And does that go through?
We only do ACH, like the direct debit from your bank accounts.
Yeah.
That's only for the utility accounts.
Okay.
Most of the other things that people pay us, they're for tax remittances, which vary every single month, or it's quarterly parking permits. So they really don't lend themselves to a monthly ACH.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? Trustee Wagner?
Yeah, my concern is about the transition, that it's going to be, do you feel it'll be seamless? Will residents have to do something additional to transition to the?
I would love it if it was seamless, but it's not going to be seamless. They're
Okay.
going to have hiccups. It's a significant process to move people from one to another. However, there are ways that we can reach out to existing PSN customers, people that are using PSN, and contact them and say this is their new system that we are going to be using. So we will have an education campaign. I'm going to be tapping into Gabby quite a bit, I think, to reach out to all of our existing customers, letting them know of the new process, the new system. So there will be, this isn't going to happen tomorrow. We do have a 90-day transition with PSN. So there will be some time for us to get up to speed with Express Bill Pay, reach out to those folks that are using PSN so that there will be there will be a transition. And we will be mindful of folks that are making that transition and maybe don't make that transition when we finally cut over. So we'll be thoughtful about that, but we want folks to switch over to the new system once it's there. We're hoping that it is as seamless as possible, and we're hoping that we believe that it's more user-friendly both for our utility bill customers and for staff when we're looking up accounts and things along those lines. That we think it'll be better all around.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Trustee
Is
Tuck?
this count different than what they use for programs for rec and parks and rec?
We tried to get one system, one merchant processing for all of the village's credit card processing, and it just doesn't exist. There's not one provider that will integrate with Parks and Rec software and police software and public works software and finance software. There's not a merchant that does that. So this is separate from that. There's not one single store where you can put your rec programs in the cart and your utility billing in the cart. that doesn't happen. There are some back-end processing that will work together a little bit for easier reporting on our side, but that's not something that the customer is going to see.
So this is basically utilities only then?
This is anything that is paid at Village Hall. First thing we're going to do is payments at Village Hall. So utility billing. We want to get things like special events applications and other seamless docs, be able to pay on a store through for quarterly Metro permits. That would be one thing we could do, or places for eating tax remittances, things that people can file and pay using seamless docs. Anything that is paid at Village Hall is our first step. That's our first area that we're going to look at, and we're hoping that this will also integrate with maybe with CityView and for permits. We're not quite there yet. We're focusing on this part of it first.
So this is also the Salt Creek also besides, no?
No,
So that wouldn't be in there either? Is the
we do not do the billing for Salt Creek.
Okay, well, they pay it here, I'm just saying outside the.
They don't
box.
pay it at Village Hall. They either pay in the Dropbox
Okay.
or they pay at the bank or Johnson's, other places.
Okay, so it wouldn't, it doesn't
We do
actually
not
go
we do not
through
take
here.
their payments.
Okay.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Okay, trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Stilella.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
President Bolus.
Yes. Okay, then we'll move down to public comments on agenda items.
I'm not-
We ask that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes. So with that, Clerk Konecki, do you have anyone signed up?
Yes, Jack Kozak first, Fuel and Creme.
All right. Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to discuss. I want to talk about the pending issue of the tent at 324 East Central. We've just, at Fuel and Creme, we've just passed our 6-month anniversary of being open and in business. So I'm here today to ask the board to allow me to utilize the tent that we have on the property on a temporary basis until we traverse the process of a PUD, a variance, and/or a text amendment to the existing code so we can come into compliance. We've learned a lot in this last 6 months that we've been in business, and we continue to learn. The biggest lesson during that time has been the value of our employees. I've learned how important it is to keep the same employees, our core team of leaders that are here today, and what a disadvantage it would be to lay them off in the winter and expect them not to find other employment. The majority of our leadership team is all Villa Park residents. We have Michelle here from Fuel, she's a Villa Park resident. Will as well. Ethan, who had a school function this evening, wasn't able to attend, also a Villa Park resident. Kevin is a Villa Park resident. And Julia, a Villa Park resident. All employed with us, all doing a great job. They are the single most important aspect of Fuel and Cream, and retaining them is essential. Financial viability is the key to retaining them. The use of our tent is important to that financial viability. The tent is even more important because we've chosen not to allow gaming in our property, and consequently that revenue. Originally, about a year ago, when we spoke with Planning and Zoning, I was asked if we would be open during the winter. My thoughts at the time was maybe we wouldn't because of the lower traffic on the Prairie Path in January, February, and March. However, as our business has developed, I've learned. There's a tremendous interest and support from our community at large to stay open. We've had requests to have events on the property, such as wedding showers, baby showers, company get-togethers, meetings, birthday parties, fundraisers, wine tasting, chili cook-offs, to name a few. We currently have events booked for the 17th, which I believe Tony from Michael Anthony is supplying the pizzas for. We have an event on the 18th. We have an event on the 23rd of January. As of this morning, we've had 18 Facebook inquiries as to future dates at the property to hold events, and 8 inquiries on our events email. Additionally, we've had a number of non-for-profit events: York Township Democratic Association, Women in Leadership Board, the Cub Scouts, the Hammerschmidt Elementary School, and Friends of the Library, just to name a few.
Okay, can you,
I'll
time-wise,
move it right along.
what exactly are you requesting? That's the question.
Well, what I'm requesting is temporary relief to allow us to use the tent over the winter while we traverse that process of a PUD, a variance, or text amendment, or a combination of all of them. I've gathered approximately 200 signatures in support of our tent. The tent has, and I can provide that to you all, I have it right here. The tent's been inspected by the fire department. I have a letter from the fire department. We have it insured. I have a certificate of insurance naming the village as additional insured. And I also drafted an indemnification agreement for the village attorney's review. In short, Villa Park is better because of what we're doing at 324. Not just because of the revenue we're bringing in for the places for eating tax, but because Villa Park's image to our community and the surrounding community. We took an old abandoned gas station with leaky tanks. We've cleaned it up and become a welcoming, family-friendly destination.
Okay,
Time.
So please consider that.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else signed up?
Yes, Tracy Gabriel.
Sorry, I have to get you my document, sorry.
We'll have 3 minutes, about.
I just had my document and I closed the wrong button, sorry. Okay. Hello to all the residents and the Village Park Board. I've been attending all the Village Park Board meetings since September and all the traffic and safety meetings since August. In the small amount of time, it has provided me countless opportunities to learn and be part of the process and to see how the process in the village works. So thank you very much for educating me. My name is Tracy, and although I was born on the south side of Chicago, I did not grow up anywhere near here. I grew up in a place where respect of neighbors, integrity, pride of community were all equally strong. These are the same reasons why I chose to live in Villa Park 7 years ago. I currently live on the corner of Myrtle and Central, and with a view of the Prairie Path on the corner, Prairie Path from my kitchen window, a view of the American flag from my couch at the old post office and Cortese Park, the park and the sunrise out my north and east bedroom windows. Along with this view, I get to hear the sounds of the people enjoying this small slice of Villa Park. I'm lucky to have found this space and share this with my wonderful neighbors. On December 18th, a huge white tent was erected at a business known as Fuel and Cream, who just presented. And to be honest, it does clash with the sleek modern look of the exterior of the building. Just my 2 cents. I was immediately concerned as this is a direct violation of Ordinance Section 6.11, temporary use of .2 permitted uses. That states that tents or similar temporary coverings used for weather protection of goods must be stored outside because of an emergency condition. I hope that everything was okay during their emergency because they erected the tents, and I hope that no loss or costs were incurred by the owners. I will reference the outdoor space, which is also restricted. I made a stop at the village office later that week, and Kelly confirmed that the tent was not approved and should be coming down that day, which it was not taken down. I have a front row seat to the empty lot that is now a beautiful, great, welcoming ice cream shop and adult beverage spot. It was a brilliant combination, family-friendly, open area, modern design, and open, great business for Villa Park. Brings lots of people to our area. Over the summer of 2019, I learned a lot from the activities of my neighbor, and tonight I'm here to provide an opportunity to share my view of why integrity, respect, and pride are being challenged in shaping the future area of this piece of Villa Park.
There were a few other incidences with the owners of Villa Park that are in direct violation of certain current codes and current ordinances. The playing of music in the outside area is a direct violation of other codes. 3.409B cannot be heard to the public street, which I hear it in through my bedroom windows. The use of the permitted outdoor space is not allowed during certain dates as posted in the ordinances, and those dates are from March 1st to November 30th. That's when it is allowed, but it's supposed to be renewed every time. So after November 30th, it's not allowed. All outdoor furniture must be removed within 24 hours of the permit to be expired. To the best of my research, there has only been 2 ordinances approved by the village board. One is to increase the fence height and to allow no parking to be provided at the property.
Okay, you're going to have to finish it up pretty quick here.
Understood. The unapproved tent is only one of many violations that I have noted in the last 6 months. The mobile storage unit, public property, the recording of live and music, noise violations, and other numerous parking and street violations by patrons and owners.
Okay, thank you very much.
So I'm going to finish up with one last statement.
All right.
I grew up on a little island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that talked about respect and integrity because we were in the middle of the ocean and everything had to come to us. I grew up in Kailua, and I feel that Villa Park has a lot of the same values as my little town in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, minus the gorgeous beach that it has, but it has a prairie path. Please take that into consideration while discussing the variance for the tent and what they have presented.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Teresa McBride, I believe it is, regarding fuel and cream.
Hi, my name's Teresa McBride. I'm a resident of Villa Park. My kids go to Schaefer, Jefferson, Willowbrook. I was talking regarding fuel and creme, and it's really has gotten to be a fun family place to go. We run on the prairie path, stop and get ice cream. I was kind of worried about them for the winter and what they were going to do. And when I found out about the tent and that there was that space, my kids like to stop and get the Mexican hot chocolate and stuff like that. So I just wanted to say that I would hate to see, I would assume it would hurt their business through the winter to not have that asset. And I would hate to see that go.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. Anyone else?
Yes, Patrick Dillon, the last one I've got.
Good evening. Patrick Dillon, live at 164 South Myrtle Avenue, directly kitty corner from the old post office. I moved to Villa Park in April of 2017, and my neighborhood has changed drastically for the better. And I cannot stress to you enough how important I think it is that you possibly give Fuel and Creme this variance that they're asking for so they can stay in business. I personally have friends and family come to my home, and we have the nice opportunity to walk down to a beautiful establishment, and it's fun. All the families are out there, and I got to tell you guys, I ride a bike a lot on the Prairie Path, and on a Thursday, Friday evening, you start heading, when I say evening, it's still light out when I'm riding my bike, you start heading towards Elmhurst. You can't believe the folks walking from Elmhurst, pulling the wagon with the kids in it, and they're all going there. I mean, it's really a beautiful thing, and they need the financial stability in order to keep that atmosphere going for everybody in the village, quite frankly, in my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Anyone else? Anyone else want to issue? Sure. Sam? State your name, please.
And sign it.
Is there a pen up there?
No, there's not.
Oh.
Sorry.
Sam moves it.
I only have one. I'm not
I want
gonna
that
leave it to you.
There's a cop here they might give me if I try to steal it.
Does it say Villa Park on that pen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it does. So again, I just wanted to add my support to the idea of keeping the tent or having a variance temporarily while it gets sorted out in a more permanent manner. And I just really enjoy that, having that amenity, I guess, in our town. I enjoy going there, and I spent some happy time in the tent. Again, I hope I don't get arrested for being in an illegal tent. But I just want to say that I think it would be a shame to risk losing the business because they can't keep themselves busy through the winter until this is sorted out. So I would, as a citizen, as someone who lives in the general area, I live on Astor Court, would like to keep that there at least while we get it sorted out in a permanent way.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Anyone else? Here,
He needs a pen.
He needs a pen. We got a
Yeah,
pen.
you got a
There's a
pen.
pen.
No, I
He's
got
gonna get his
I
back
feel
later.
a cold and the flu coming on here.
Sign in and state your name, so,
Okay. My name's Steve Goals. I'm on 424 Ardmore. So it's been nice having an option. I know I've talked to you guys before that there's not a lot of options. I know we see that family banner, best places to live, but it's kind of tricky with not having options to go or take the kids. And if you're going to have those banners up in favor of the family, I think this is a really good option for us. There's really been nowhere before that was open where the kids could go to get an ice cream or anything, like we're on Ardmore near the Prairie Path, so even to go get candy, they'd have to go to the liquor store or ride their bike all the way to the Walgreens or go to Elmhurst or go to Lombard for the little candy stores. So this is a really nice little option. They have the kids can go walk down, get ice cream. We can get a drink. It's nice too. But it's not just alcohol. I know there's been a lot of talk of liquor licenses and we had a lot of vaping and all this crazy stuff, but these guys are giving back to the community. They put a lot of money into this, first of all. Like they said, it was an old beat up gas station, and so they put a lot of money into it, and they've given a lot back to the community. It's not just a bar. It's there's kids for ice cream. Even riding my bike, I don't go there every day, but in the summer riding your bike, it's nice just to see bustling activity and people having fun. And I look forward to seeing what food truck's going to be out there or what new. Every time I think of something, an idea, they do it before even mentioning it to them. I was thinking for Christmas, Kris Kringle market would be nice there, and all of a sudden I drive by one day, there's a little Kris Kringle market. Halloween, they had a nice little display for all the kids. So I think it's something really good for the community, and it's somewhere where I can tell family when they come over, it's somewhere where I'm proud to tell them. And I don't have a lot of places in our town where I'm proud to say, I can take people and feel good about it. So I would recommend approving this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else? Yes. Oh.
Good job.
Please state your name while you're signing in.
My name is Jack Cuthbertson.
Jack?
Jack. I'm a member of the Villa Park Traffic and Safety Board. I came here tonight. I was just kind of interested about the hour and time change, and now realize that Fuel and Crim was on this. And I want to thank you for employing my daughter. That place has been absolutely outstanding, and I understand this is a new business, and they're going to have growing pains, and there's going to be, bumps and bruises. But it's a beautiful place. Let's see what we can do to make this work out. Hey, maybe this isn't right. Let's see what we can do to help them. This place, the village needs this. The place is incredible.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
My name is Wendy Goals. I'm at 424 South Ardmore.
Marigold?
What's that?
Marty Gold?
Wendy.
Wendy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm also in support of Fuel and Crim. I have seen such a wonderful process. We're always, every time we head back home, we always make sure we go down that street just to see what's going on, because there's always something going on. I really don't know how they get any sleep, actually. But I am so proud to have them in our community. And like my husband said, they give so much back to the community. It makes me so happy, and it's really improved my happiness a little bit in Villa Park. And even though, you know, we have something to look forward, we're very active people. We're always on the Prairie Path. We see friends from all over DuPage taking the Prairie Path and seeing them there. And it's just such a great addition to this community. Our kids love it there. Their friends love it. I mean, we came here, you know, to support them previously. And, you know, the kids, that's the main focus, is the kids, family. And I hope that they get what they need, because we really love them. You know, I don't know them very well, but I love what they've done. And like my husband said as well, every time we think of something, oh, they should do this, we walk by, it's already done. Like the bike rack, you know, beautiful. They don't do things 80, 50%. They do them 110%. You know, it's amazing, and I'm so impressed. And so that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Wendy.
Wendy, please sign in. Wendy, please sign.
Anyone else? Yeah. Please sign in, state your name.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for your time. My name is Kevin Meeker. I am a resident of Villa Park. I am also part of the leadership team at Fuel and Creme and a member of the Traffic and Safety Committee. So I just want to take this opportunity and ask you to please consider all of the evidence in front of you, all of the comments that you heard from ourselves as well as the residents, and please allow us to provide this service for our guests in the community. I also want to take the opportunity to give you a list of all the members of the community and surrounding areas that had signed a petition to allow us to have the tent as well too. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes. You know the drill.
My name is Michelle Figge. I've lived here my whole life, and I live in unincorporated Villa Park, but I'd have to say Fuel definitely has made it so much more beautiful in the area. And like the surrounding little corners, it's definitely an addition, and you can bring your dogs there, which is cool. So yeah, just a good place.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Mike,
I actually didn't come to speak tonight.
sign in, please.
Hi, Mike Orlowski. I'm on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I didn't plan on speaking tonight, but I thought it was important just to get some of the facts out there in regards to Fuel and Creme. Being on the Planning and Zoning Commission, there was some things that were granted to them to run their business in the nature that it was only going to be seasonal, such as the no parking requirement for a business. We did ask them up front if this was all going to work for them being a seasonal business, and they had no issues with it then. And I would say the other thing is the comments that I have heard is that there are rules that we all have to follow, and you have to ask first and then get permitted. If you want something in Villa Park, just like all the other businesses that have donated their time and effort and energy to the village, ask, get it permitted, and then do it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else? Okay, I think we could maybe take a little time for the board members. They're asking for relief on the 10th and just to get an idea of what the board members think, because we can, you want to,
Just, no, you have the right to hold enforcement of the ordinances in advance, pending process and procedure as mandated by code.
right. And that's what we need is consensus from the board, how they feel. So we've heard his arguments, so any thoughts? Trustee Wagner?
Thank you, President Bolthus. I was relying on the village manager's memo of January 8th with regards to the tent which was erected. A lot of my questions have been answered. I think that and I just want confirmation of this as well, that the tent has some sort of fire rating that makes it suitable for accommodating people, certificate of insurance, a hold harmless clause, etc. Having said that, my concern is we want to help them. We want their business to thrive, but in the same sense, we don't want to have a mentality of I'm going to do this and then I'm going to ask forgiveness or ask after the fact. So I hope that going forward in the future that there's more of a spirit of following village code and seeking staff's input before something is done. I agree with everything that's said. I think Fuel and Creme is a wonderful place. It's a wonderful addition to the community. But I agree with something that Commissioner Orlowski said, that, we really need to respect our ordinances. And we need to, if there's a question about our ordinances, questions need to be asked. So I guess what I'm just asking for is confirmation of the statements that were made by Jack Kozar about the tent. Has it been inspected? Do we feel comfortable about allowing people, occupancy of the tent? And my other question is, when will the proposals that he's come up with, when will those be coming before when do we think those will be coming before zoning and planning?
Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, as I understand, the tent structure has been inspected by our code enforcement inspector, Danita Anderson. I believe the tent has also been inspected by Deputy Fire Chief Steve Stapleton, and both inspections have passed or been approved, if you will. I think if you take a look and think about the process of the Planning and Zoning Commission, I think if Mr. Kozar would apply within the next few days, I believe that the earliest this project could be heard would probably be March, based upon the timeliness of getting the application into Director Grill and then public notification and then placing it upon the agenda. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Planning and Zoning Commission meets the second Tuesday, I believe, of the month. And so here it is Thursday, yes, second Thursday of each month. And so here we are, almost done with January. So I believe it can be heard in March. And I'm not so sure that it would take one meeting. There's a lot to be discussed. I think most of you have received Mr. Kozar's extended plans. And so there could be multiple meetings to discuss the entirety of the area and project. So I'm more than happy to work with the Mr. Kozar if the board so desires and go through the points contained in my memo from last week. Happy to do that. If you'd like me to visit the tent myself, I will with the fire chief and go through it again. More than happy to do that. Thank you, Your Honor.
Steve Murphy?
From my perspective, based on this unique circumstance, I would not necessarily have promoted or condoned the actions as they all transpired. But if we were to look at where we are today, we certainly want to see this business succeed. And I would perhaps make a recommendation if we have the option, and again, it's all based on the safety of the facility. We certainly don't want to jeopardize anybody's safety. But my personal thought process is a compromise to suggest that any specific date that a resident has requested by contract to use that facility and help them financially be viable until we get this whole issue resolved. It's our residents that are speaking, suggesting that they want to use this facility, and the revenue will certainly help this business owner get through the winter. Other than that, my suggestion would be that the tent not stay open on a day-to-day basis, but if we have a contract from a resident and it's safe to use, let them use it on those specific instances.
I'm waiting for Trustee Tucker to raise her hand.
I was just waiting in line for my turn. I really honor what you've done over there. I really do like what you've done. But you did come in front of both planning and, zoning board and us, stating that it was going to be seasonal. And we had a hard discussion on the fence at there. It was a long, lengthy discussion on the height of your fence. Now we've got a tent there that is in violation, and several other things that you are changing. Yes, I mean, I want your business to happen, but in the same token, we have rules and ordinance in effect for a reason, and they're in effect for everybody in this village. So if we give you leadway to, keep your tent up, we're in violation of all the other businesses in this town that would have liked to have a tent erupted too. I do like Christina's idea of maybe you getting a special permit for your events to have the tent up, and then the tent comes down when the event's over. But in the long token of things, you need to follow our code violations, and you're in violation right now, and you should have been financed, or they should have gave you, certificate when that tent stayed up longer than it should have in the first place. I strongly believe we have a reason we have the Planning and Zoning Committee there, and if we keep changing those for some reason, when residents have an issue, we might as well not have that committee, because we're stating they're not worthless. And, they're worthless. I can't go against our code violations.
Anybody down on this end? Trustee Kazal.
A couple things. I had a question for the village attorney too. I don't want to have a bad precedent setting here, allowing people just to do things and then coming to the board. On the other hand, I do think it's an addition to there. I think it's been a great addition to Villa Park. It's done a lot. It's done a lot for the surrounding towns getting to know Villa Park again and saying, this is a great place to come to. You hear that from a lot of people. Elmhurst, Glen Ellen, Wheaton, Lombard. I have a question though for Patrick Grill. With all of the changes and the requests that they're making, what is your opinion of the best way to approach it? Is it better to do a PUD or get variances?
Variances would be hard because you have to ask what the specific hardship is, and the hardship has to only be applicable basically to him. Text amendments, if you do a text amendment, you have to realize that those text amendments then are useful to all property owners in the village. When he did come before the Planning and Zoning Commission last week, it was their desire that he come through with a PUD, because then it could be site-specific. They could condition the request as they saw fit, and I would concur with that desire.
Okay. And you think they'd be able to get that to you by March? Get a PUD?
At this point, to be on the March 12th agenda, they would have to have something to me no later than February 10th.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
I would just like to say that I also am in favor of this facility. It's a great addition to the town. They've done a lot of hard work there, and a lot of things good have come out of it. The tent I see as a hiccup in such a successful new business in our town, and I don't know quite how to approach it. I mean, the trustee in me says follow the rules. The resident who enjoys the facility has a whole different perspective. So it keeps me in a 50-50 area, and I know I have to do what's right, and I would hate to see the removal of the tent cause a hardship on Mr. Kozar, but at the same time, there's rules and regulations that we need to follow. But I'm also open to doing anything that would expedite him being in compliance. So whatever that is, I'm more than happy to work along with you and get you there. So.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming to the Planning and Zoning Commission on Thursday night. I was there. I think you got some real good ideas from that commission to help you through this process. But as I told you on Saturday with Coffee at the Board, there's a procedure. And if I remember right, you're an attorney? So you know there's a procedure and there's codes that need to be abided by. And matter of fact, you laid some of them out in some of your proposals. And that bothers me, that you know there's a procedure and you decided to not follow. But even with that, I will admit that it's a nice asset to the community. I've heard from people from Willowbrook and Glen Ellen and Elmhurst and beyond about the Fuel and Cream. But I don't like the fact that you violate the codes when you know better. But now your tent's up, and we need some type of a compromise so that you can stay in business during the process of filing with the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I would sort of be in favor of you keeping the tent up, giving you a, what do you call it, a waiver or variance or?
Holding enforcement in abeyance
Right.
for further study by the Plan Commission.
We had a recommendation May 1st. We got that in the manager's memo. I would probably myself say April 1st, but I can live with May 1st. But you have to be in the process with the Planning and Zoning Commission. And on May 1st, if there is no decision from the Planning and Zoning Commission on setting up a PUD where it comes to this board, that it's all signed and sealed, as of May 1st, it has to come down. Okay? So that's where I'm at. You can leave the tent up for now, but the process has to be proceeding, ongoing, to meet the code requirements. And with a PUD, every time you makes a change there, you have to come back to the Planning and Zoning Commission to get their okay and run it past them. So it gives the village some control on what happens. The doing things ahead of time and not asking before, that has to stop. Okay? But if you're not in the process, May 1st, you have to take the tent down. So that's my recommendation. Trustee.
Yes, I would just perhaps like to ask for some assistance from our code enforcers and from Manager Keener. As a trustee, I am frequently getting input regarding the circumstances in the Villa Avenue business area. And I would suggest for the most part, no one is necessarily complaining about any other businesses' environment or what they're doing and who they're doing it to. But they are bringing forth different circumstances down in that Villa Avenue business area of particular circumstances that could, in fact, be in violation of some of our ordinances. I don't want to see any one particular business being focused upon or specific fingers being pointed in any direction. Everyone in every business should either be asking for specific permission to do certain things, or if they're in violation, they should be cited. So if we have an opportunity to spot check down there, just to make sure that no one is presenting ill will toward anyone else's business for what they did on their particular property, everybody should be in compliance, and if we're convinced they are, I think we'll be in a much better position for symbiosis in that area. As long as someone's seeing someone else's particular area with something they think is a violation, then there continues to be ill will, which I would like to see go away as early in the year as we can possibly make that happen. If there are violations, then everybody should be cited, but I would like to specifically say, I don't have anyone saying that they are complaining about anybody else's business in that area. They're just particularly pointing out specifics of one person doing something that perhaps another's not been entitled to do. So any support from the village manager and code enforcement just to ensure everyone's in compliance, I think would be helpful.
Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to start off by saying I think that Fuel and Creme is an amazing, valuable asset to our community. I really do see a ton of potential from the little time that you guys have been in place there too. Some of the things you've done have been amazing. I look forward to that progress. I do think, though, we do have these ordinances in place for a reason, and we need to stick to them. I know that based on your business model or whatnot, that not having this tent might severely impact your business, which would possibly affect your business staying in Villa Park. I do think that it's possible to come up with a potential compromise that would allow the Village of Villa Park to have you apply for a special permit for each of the days that you listed, possibly, you said the 17th, the 18th, and the 23rd of January. However, I think that by abiding by the current ordinance, by taking the tent down and then erecting it during those days with a special permit might be the best solution here. That way we're abiding by the ordinances, and then we're also allowing you that opportunity to do business, as you state. I don't know if that is a possibility.
No, if it's in code violation, there is no, quote, special permit. I mean, the issue is simplifying your problem.
Okay. So with that being said, like I do support your business. I support all the businesses, especially in that area. However, with that being said, I think that we do have to abide by the process. I hope that you do get your plans in as soon as you can, so that way you could get started on them, so that way it doesn't drastically affect your business. But going forward, I do think Fuel and Creme have amazing potential. You guys have been a valuable asset already to the community, and I hope you keep that motivation. Thank you.
So, is the recommendation to allow him to keep the tent up, and will not enforce the code until a specific date, as long as he's in the process of working with Planning and Zoning Commission? Trustee Ciala?
I would be in favor of that.
Any certain date?
I think the days that you outlined
May 1st?
would be sufficient.
And that would be in towards summer, so. Trustee Kazal?
Yeah, I'd be good with that, but I do think we are going to enter into a indemnification agreement too.
There was a certificate of insurance, which is better, which
Okay.
ensures the
Okay.
village as well as
And that's,
the operator.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
That's in
right.
place?
Okay.
Right.
The certificate insurance? Yeah. So, okay, any,
Who wants to sue him? I'd rather have an insurance.
anybody
that's
else?
good, okay.
And
What do
then
you
indemnify.
think, Trustee Wagner?
I'm supporting your position, holding code enforcement in abeyance
Okay,
until May 1st.
right. And,
No.
Murphy, yes?
You're a no.
Cheryl?
I'm a no.
You're a no?
I cannot go against code violations just
Okay.
because we're making a special effect here.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I
I'm
just can't.
concerned about that too, if
I-
another business wants to put
I'm
a
sorry,
comment up.
I feel that it will steamroll on us if we do, so I cannot, with good conscience, do that.
Trustee Patrick?
Being that we can't allow that special permit based on a violation of the ordinance, I would have to agree with Trustee Tucker at the time until we go through the process to do that. So I would, at this time, be a no.
Okay. See, well, we have 4 board members, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's okay with the May 1st date, and we'll hold the code enforcement and abeyance, and, but you have to be in the process. So, May 1st is going to be a hard date. Okay. All right, that's the consensus, so. Okay. Thank you. All right. Anybody else on another topic from the public? Okay. With that, none, we'll move down to the clerk's report.
No report, thank you.
Thank you. Trustees report, Trustee Murphy.
Yes, I just have 2 things. I'm anticipating Trustee Patrick to talk about the Willowbrook tree donation, and I would just like to thank Trustee Patrick for coordinating the effort with Willowbrook Wildlife to donate those trees in support of the animals. It was a wonderful decision, and a special thank you to everyone involved, all the village employees, and there were board members, several people from village, I believe, and the Chamber of Commerce, so everyone was in great coordination. It was our first effort at that. We do have a few bumps perhaps that we'll do better next year, but there was a donation of at least 30 of the trees from the Prairie Path that were taken down and brought to Willowbrook Wildlife for the animals. So that was a wonderful new process for us. And just a reminder on the electronic recycling on Saturday, January 18th, just as always, but particularly now, because if you have any Christmas tree lights that aren't functioning, please be sure to bring them over. We're happy to take them at the recycling event.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trustee Tucker.
I have nothing except the reminder that tomorrow the Park and Rec Commission meets at Iowa School at 7 p.m.
Okay. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Bolfus. Just a couple things. The library will be sponsoring a program on Monday, January 20th. It's called Great Decisions 2020. And they have resource material there that you can pick up and read. And basically, it's a community discussion about many issues. I think there's 8 different issues. The first one, which will be on Monday, January 20th, which starts at 7 p.m., will be on climate change. So it should be an interesting discussion. This is just kind of part of the library's excellent programming that they do. And I know, and I probably get the date right, I think the date wrong, but I think Kiwanis is having a bowl-a-thon on, is it February 8th?
No.
Oh, February 1st. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Okay, February 1st. And is it Stardust?
Yes.
Okay, in Addison. And it's a fundraiser for spastic paralysis. So. Pardon me?
Neuroscience research.
Neuroscience. Okay. And that's really all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. First of all, Happy New Year, everybody. I would like to, first of all, thank the Villa Park Fire Department for opening up their doors to Cub Scout Pack 122 last week. Especially firefighters Maurice and Sparger gave the tours to probably about 15 to 20 of the Cub Scouts. Did an amazing job, answered some really cool questions, and gave them a great tour. Second of all, just to piggyback kind of on what Trustee Murphy was talking about, I'd like to take a moment to thank the Villa Park Chamber of Commerce and the Village of Villa Park for the recent donation to the Willowbrook Wildlife Center, located at 525 Park Boulevard in Glen Ellen. Over the holidays, residents had the opportunity to purchase a 5-foot-tall Christmas tree from the Villa Park Chamber of Commerce and decorate them in preparation for Joyful Traditions that was held on Saturday, December 7th. The trees were located along the Villa Park's stretch of the Illinois Prairie Path, ranging from Addison Road to Villa Avenue. And approximately 80 Christmas trees were on display and had a wide variety of decorations. As we know, traditionally, after the holidays, these trees have been used for mulch and landscaping throughout the village. However, this year, 30 of the trees were donated to Willowbrook Wildlife Center for animal enrichment. Injured or orphaned animals that have been brought to the Wildlife Center use these trees to help them get better acclimated to the wild while they rehab there. Willowbrook Wildlife Center serves as a rehabilitation center for native and migratory wildlife. The center opened in 1952 as Willowbrook Wildlife Haven by individuals who were concerned about the welfare of wild animals. In 1956, the owner deeded Willowbrook Forest Preserve to the Forest Preserve District of DuPage County, which added an education and treatment center and an outdoor exhibit area in 1981. In 1993, after more than 40 years of operation, the facility was renamed Willowbrook Wildlife Center. On average, Willowbrook Wildlife Center treats more than 9,600 animals each year. It is the only publicly funded wildlife rehabilitation facility in DuPage County and one of the few in northeastern Illinois to treat native and migratory birds. In addition, Willowbrook Wildlife Center includes nature trails, a butterfly garden, an outdoor native wildlife exhibit, including a sandhill crane exhibit, and serves as a resource for understanding the natural world and provides a learning experience. My family and I have been visiting Willowbrook Wildlife Center since the mid-'80s. They have a strong core of educated volunteers and are always eager to help people learn about our local wildlife. I'd especially like to thank Alicia Bailey of the Villa Park Chamber of Commerce for organizing the Joyful Traditions event, Trustee Christine Murphy for helping to prepare the trees for their delivery to Willowbrook Wildlife Center, as well as Brian Roche and his staff from Parks and Recreation. Collectively, we all came together to help support some of DuPage County's less talked about residents, our wildlife, unless you're a coyote. So thank you.
Trustee Ciala.
No report this evening.
It's a couple things. Economic Development Commission's meeting on Wednesday, January 15th, 5:30 up here in the COW room. So if you're interested in what's going on with our businesses around town, feel free to stop by. Community Pride Commission meets on Tuesday, the 21st, also up here in the COW room. 6 o'clock are those meetings. And I know it seems like last year, which it was, but I'd like to give a shout out to President Boltus and Manager Keener and staff on getting the bridge over Salt Creek done. It took a couple of years of hard work, and they got a $3 million project done with the village paying about $88,000. Rewrote the agreement with Elmhurst where Villa Park was on the hook for the whole construction. So I'd like to just give a shout out to them, say good job, and to everybody involved in it. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you. President's report, just a couple things. As you know, that the manager spends quite a bit of time putting these agendas together. But our next meeting is scheduled for the 27th. But at this point, we really have nothing that needs to be taken care of. So we may not have that meeting on the 27th. Just check the residents, check the website to see if that meeting's been canceled or not, and the board members will be notified. So right now, that meeting is in, if we have it or not, is in question. The other thing I have is, I got some remarks here. As you all noticed at almost every board meeting in the trustees report, the trustees mention upcoming dates of commissions that they serve as a liaison on. And these commissions are made up of residents and sometimes business owners in town who volunteer their time to serve on the commissions that address issues to assist the residents, the staff, and the village board. The liaison communicates between the commission and the village board. And I would like to thank all the members of the commissions for the work that they do. And I would also like to thank the village trustees who take another day away from their time with their family to go to those meetings. But on occasion, I have been asked, what is the involvement of the liaison and any village board member who may attend the commission meeting? The liaison may bring questions or direction as directed by the majority of the village board to the commission. The liaison and any village board member who attends a commission meeting may observe but not participate in the discussion. I've asked the village attorney to give us a little more information and insight on what exactly the roles and of the village board trustees are when they participate in commission meetings. Manager, Attorney York.
As you know, anytime there are present discussing business, a majority of a quorum, that would be of the village board, it would be of any commission, it would be any subcommittee. Those are all by definition meetings. And meetings require, whenever there is in attendance a majority of a quorum. For example, for the village board, our quorum is 4, a majority would be 3. For a commission on which there are 5, a quorum is 3, a majority would be 2. We have commissions that we've often laughed about as attorneys, where you have committees of 3 talking to yourself is a violation of the Open Meetings Act. I mean, that's how absurd it really is. But we must be careful, and I was explaining to President Balthus that in my position as village attorney in various places in the state, complaints are rampant. And we would like to avoid that, especially where you have well-intentioned participation and great interest on the part of the board and great interest on the part of the commissions. If there are more than 2 trustees attending any commission meeting, the third person must only be an observer, which I think is almost impossible. And so rather than bring a situation into question, I think that we should probably avoid, we have a liaison and maybe 1 more trustee as opposed to 3, because then you have an open meeting. Well, how do you get around this? What do you do? What you would have to do by the law is anytime there are 3 trustees present, there are 2 of a committee of 5 present, you would have to post it as a meeting with an agenda and have it registered, i.e. minutes being taken at the meeting. So it becomes very, very cumbersome. But that is the law. And it is extraordinarily embarrassing having been there, writing a letter to the state's attorney saying, well, it was a well-intentioned gathering. And so I would like to suggest to you that we not ever have more than 2 of our board members present at a committee meeting. I would like to suggest to the commissions that the information be extended to them also, that they have to strictly abide by the Open Meetings Act. And I had heard that there's a couple of our commissions who have subcommittees, and that's where it gets really dangerous. Because the subcommittee is a committee, any committee or subcommittee is a committee, and violations of the Open Meetings Act can cause serious ramifications if enforced by the county.
So the subcommissions have to have their own agenda?
Yeah, it's a meeting.
It has to be published?
It would have, well, there's several things. If it is a regular ongoing subcommittee, you have to do what we were talking about with Trustee Tucker, is that meetings have to be designated and posted for a year's term. If it's a standing subcommittee, that's what it is. There would have to be an agenda, there would have to be notice, there would have to be agenda, and there would have to be minutes.
So if there's a commission meeting that has a quorum,
yes,
and there's more than 2 trustees there, let's say there's 3, how does that go then? Do they, because then you have a little mess up there.
You do, because they're still listening and still participating in some public discussion, so it could be questionable. I mean, the idea is when we go to the Illinois Municipal League, we go to the discussions and the lectures and whatever and we sit there and we listen and we do not really participate. Yes, we ask questions, but we don't participate with each other about specific municipal issues that are our business. That's not the case. Our committee, our commissions, our subcommittees, whatever the reason they're together is to discuss village business at some level.
So you have to be careful.
You have to be very, very careful if you have the wrong number there to be sure that it's noted that there was no discussion by the third person or the second person, whatever the case may be, given the quorum count of that particular group.
Okay. Now, what about subcommittees? If there's a subcommittee, can a village board member be a member of the subcommittee?
Yes.
Okay.
But the
Well-
subcommittee, the subcommittee violates the Open Meetings Act unless they are scheduled, notice, minutes, etc.
And then the liaison brings direction to the commission after the village board directs him to do that, and then they bring back to the village board information that the
Right,
commission
but
wants
that's not-
clarification on.
right.
But that's
And-
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
that's about as clear as mud. Does anybody have any clarification? So, Trustee Patrick.
I just have one question. Has the board ever considered having the commission meetings recorded? So that way people could review it at a later date?
That's another suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a suggestion for you to, right, so that there's no open meetings violation, but you still have the information and specifics because minutes are never, ever, it's physically possible to really give you the full discussion.
Well, we have.
And they're not required to.
We have had the Planning and Zoning Commission meetings recorded and televised, but that, it's not going on right now. It's hard to get someone to actually come and do it, and it really has to be a staff member. So it can't be, just the public. The public can record it, but we can't put that on our website.
According to the contract that we just agreed upon with Suncom, doesn't that allow us some room in our budget for them to record more than the required amount of meetings that we have for a board meeting?
I would think it would. I think the contract would, but we'd have to pay them extra for doing that.
Sure.
Right.
So that's the option that
That's
we're
good.
facing
Yeah.
then,
Mhm.
is whether or not we want to pay the company to be here to record those meetings for
Right.
transparency. Okay.
Anyone else need any clarification? Trustee Murphy?
Just a question with respect to process, as opposed to then perhaps 3 board members attending a commission meeting, if a trustee has a concern about a particular area, but feels that the direction isn't appropriate to go to a commission meeting in an effort not to have 3 people, where would we voice our concern? Does that go to Manager Keener, or does that go to President Bolthus?
It can come here.
Right.
Or Manager Keener, or President Bolthus, or you can one-on-one talk to the chairman of the commission.
So as a board member, we are authorized to talk to the chairman of a commission directly without going through the village manager's office?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the commission's business.
Yeah, they're a commissioner. They're not an employee.
Thank you.
And again, any direction that goes to the commission is from this board.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Tucker?
Question brought up, just the planning and zoning, where a lot of us go as residents because it's an issue in our neighborhood. Because they do have minutes taken there, are we in violation to have 2 or more people there?
If you really and truly are sitting there without any input, the problem is you start asking questions, and then you have a majority of the quorum discussing, I can read to you the exact verbiage. It says, or other means of interactive communication of a majority of a quorum. So that you go to a zone, I understand, the 3 of our trustees are at a P&Z meeting. One of them is the liaison, the other two are there because it's a PUD being requested for your neighborhood. Once you start interacting, the theory is, A, you could look at the minutes, and B, you should get a full report here at this level where you actually vote, so that the fact that you can't discuss anything or ask any questions there does not prohibit you from having time, asking questions, and having the same discussion.
So you say they can attend the meeting.
Can't say a word.
But don't say anything.
Right.
When you're a trustee, your time to ask questions is when it comes up to the village board.
Okay, so basically, the same thing comes across with Park and Rec sometimes. We have several commissioners that show up because there's an issue going on and they just want to be there to hear what's going on in their neighborhood and stuff. So as long as they do not ask any questions,
Or
they basically interact with it. They can sit there at a meeting and take everything in. As long as we do not interact, we're not in violation.
Right, and that's the IML example, where we can always go to a meeting and observe and training, whatever, yes.
But as long as we don't interact, we're not in
Which
violation.
is very difficult.
Which is difficult.
Very
sometimes.
difficult.
I take it, but I'm just trying to understand. If we don't interact or ask any questions, we're okay to sit there as a bump on the log, but the moment we interact, we're in violation. Okay.
Except being called in by the state's attorney is far more embarrassing than answering a question.
Okay, so we've all been warned. So, okay. Let's see, manager's report.
I'm passing this evening.
Wow.
Okay.
We silenced the manager? Okay.
Well, we need a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Jones, second. Wagner?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Maybe we'll see you on the 27th, maybe not.